Hey, what's up guys, I'm Joe and this is a Partner's Wife RC Adventures, and today it's not all about having fun, hence why Em's not here, it's about learning. And today we're going to learn how to refill our shocks. And this links into one of my upcoming videos, which is going to be the top 5 modifications and upgrades to your brand new Maxx. Where refilling it with some thicker fluid can allow you to do bigger jumps, land, and not destroy the chassis. Kind of like I did. Here we have the chassis, and on the bottom here you'll see where it's broken the chassis. Now this is because the fluid in the shocks is just too light when you're landing those big jumps. When you're landing, yeah, I know, okay, I didn't land all of the jumps, alright, maybe I didn't land even half the jumps, but the ones that I landed still bottomed out. And this damage has occurred from the chassis landing in this direction, so purely the shock's not really doing its job. And I'll also admit it's not just the fact that the shocks weren't doing its job and it was bottoming out. Also, the battery I'm using is a large battery. It's 6,500 milliamp battery, so it's a lot heavier, a lot bigger, and that's also sort of trying to push through the chassis, which ended up occurring with all those hard landings. And I have a fix on the way for how to prevent this from occurring again, and you'll see in a future video, as well as using heavier shock oil. So make sure you subscribe, and if you want to see when I created this damage, I'm going to put a video in the description of using this truck at the skate park when this damage occurred. Okay, so first things first is you need to take your shocks off the truck, which is pretty easy to do, pretty obvious, so I'm not going to put that in the video. Now, of course, you've got 4 shocks, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. We're going to look at just the front. Same methods apply on how to refill your shocks. Step number 1, get your 2mm hex. And you want to take this little screw out here. That's the first thing you want to do. Take the bottom off. Pull back the spring, takes away the tension. Take this bottom clip out, put it to the side, and go ahead and take your spring off. And first thing you want to do is just go ahead and give this a little bit of a wipe down. There's probably a bit of dirt that's collected here, which is completely normal, completely okay. Once you've given it a wipe down, you want to go ahead and undo the top lid. You might be able to do it by hand, or you can just chuck something through the middle there, make a little bit easier job of unscrewing it. And when you lift this up, there should be the little seal, little blue seal there. Should help and keep all the fluid inside the shock. And there we have it. Take your seal off carefully, put it to the side, and you can see the shocks are filled quite nicely already from the factory. Now go ahead and get yourself a wee container and empty the fluid into that. Okay, now that the shock is empty, I'm going to go ahead and get your new fluid. Now I'm using 40 weight in the front. This is the front shock, and the rear shocks, which we've already done, are using 50 weight. Push that up just a little bit, just a tad, and then go ahead and fill them right, basically almost to the top, maybe a millimeter below the top. Like so. And then what you're going to see is when you pull this down, so there's going to be a lot of bubbles in there right now, little bubbles. When you pull this down, it's going to create one big bubble. It's going to help push all the little ones to the top to help speed up the process of waiting for the bubbles to come out. Then once you've done that, you want to top it up a little bit more. Then slowly just move the piston, I suppose, up and down, helping to move all the little bubbles out. Now bear in mind, the thicker the fluid you use, the more little bubbles there's going to be, and the harder and the longer you have to wait for them to come out. Thinner fluid, going to be a bit quicker. Be careful not to allow the fluid to spill over the top. So you have to move very slowly, twist it around a little bit as well. Then what I do is, I haven't got a vise, so I've just got some cotton buds. And let's go ahead and stick that in there, and I let it just sit. Now I let this sit for around about 10-15 minutes. So I'm just going to go ahead and let that do its thing. Okay, I've left that for a good 15 minutes or so. So most of the bubbles should be all out by now. I'm going to give it another wee plunge, really slowly. Then top it off. Now, I just fill the stroke right to the top, because when you put the seal on and then the screw on the lid, any excess will come out. And if you do all of them right to the top, then they're all going to be even. Whereas if you try and measure out like a millimeter or 2 millimeters, one of them might not be even, and that's what happened to me with the rear. I thought they were perfectly even, and then when I was testing them together, definitely one of them, was a lot easier than the other to move. Right, once you've filled it straight to the top, right to the top, put the bladder. You're going to get some spillage, which is fine. That's what you want. That means you've filled it to the top properly. Now, I got this upgrade. The reason I got this upgrade is because I'm using thicker fluid. Using thicker fluid means the shocks are going to absorb more force when it hits the ground after a big jump. And with it absorbing more force, the plastic at the top is going to be more prone to breaking. So I went ahead and got these metal ones. Then you want to screw them on to about hand tightness. Now you're going to get a whole lot of fluid that's coming out of that hole, and that's what you want. If all of them have fluid coming out of that hole, that means that they're all being filled to basically as much as they possibly can. Hand tightness, I just give it a little twist at the end there, and then wipe it up. All the excess. Once you've wiped the excess off, go ahead and put your spring back on. I'm just going to screw that more or less to the top there. Put your spring back on. The clip on the bottom. I don't know the technical terms for all these pieces, but that's fine. Screw it in. And there we are done. We have our front shock with 40 weight oil and the metal cap at the top there. And give it a little test. That feels good. That feels real good. That's our front one, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. Thanks for watching today's video, guys. I know it's just a short one on how to refill these shocks with some heavier fluid, because you want heavier fluid if you're going to be doing bigger jumps like I do. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our content that's coming up. I've got a lot of video ideas coming. Some of them are going to be awesome. We're going to take, with some cheap RCs on their way, some budget RCs, we're going to take them to the track and do a bit of racing. We're going to hit the skate park again with the Max once it's completed with this upgrade, and see if it performs better using heavier fluid and other little bits and pieces that I'm upgrading to it. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, and thanks for watching.